It's a Friday night in Little John as the ACC and SEC meet in a top 20 display of championship gymnastics here on the ACC Network Extra as Clemson got by Towson on Sunday. Alabama kicking off their season here tonight as the students are back on campus and ready for a new era of Clemson gymnastics alongside the former Tiger in Lauren Rutherford. I'm Daniel Gilman. As we talk, Clemson already one under their belt. What advantage does that bring for the Tigers?
That's a great advantage for the Tigers. I mean, they got to feel what it's like to be back in Little John, the excitement of competing. They got to learn from what they did last week and really just improve this week.
And for the first time this season, Alabama fans get to see their squad. Let's go ahead and kick things off with the all-around champ from last year in Gabby Gladio.
A senior for Alabama. She is such a leader and example in the gym. She did not miss a single meet last year, and she is a four-time championship All-American, and she is just coming out of the gate in 2026 strong, and I can't wait to see what she does tonight.
And Clemson fans know her well, but for those that don't, you will be in for a show tonight with Bree Clark.
Wow, she is a firecracker for this team. She is just lights out on floor and beam, and this year she added vault. She got to do a new 10.0 start value vault. She learned it this preseason, and I got to see it on Sunday, and it was beautiful. I can't wait to see what she does tonight.
And Clark and the Tigers sit fourth in the nation. It was an abbreviated open to the season as we introduce you to the former Cal coaching staff as Liz Crandall-Howell. Justin Howell spent 13 years at the helm out in Berkeley, runner-up 2 seasons ago, and they will match up with a familiar face as Ashley Johnston and Liz Crandall-Howell. They go way back. Liz Crandall-Howell was a mentor of sorts for Ashley as she was a 10-time All-American. And well, Lauren, as we get set for this one, Clemson had a 196-150 against Towson. Of course, it's not a head-to-head in that sense, but what are you thinking for both coaches in terms of a target for today?
I would say, I think for Clemson, just, improving little by little. The season's long, and tonight I think they're just going to focus on what kind of held them back a little bit from full scoring potential. And I think, focusing on those landings, the little details, the handstands, all of that's important tonight. And for Alabama, I think coming out of the gate strong for their season, they became one of only 5 programs to reach national semifinals in back-to-back seasons last year, and I know they're vying for another national championship title. So it'll be exciting tonight to see both of these programs go head-to-head for the first time.
Clemson and Alabama have plenty of lore in other sports, but they will meet on the mats for the first time in their program's history here tonight. But Lauren, you were part of that Tuscaloosa regional. So these 2 programs, they have tangled, and both coaches made it a point of emphasis that they are playing against themselves. They want that NQS score as the season goes along to continue tallying up. And so instead of a head-to-head mindset, it's more playing themselves, right?
Yeah, for sure. At the end of the day, it's making the necessary adjustments, whether that's in lineup or score-wise or routine-wise, to just...
Well, here we set up as Madison Minner will kick things off for Clemson yet again. She was the leadoff last week on vault, a senior from just down the road in Anderson, in a brand new regalia purple leotard as we take a look at the points of emphasis as we get set for a Yurchenko tucked 1.5 with that 10.0 start value.
Nice. That was a great landing. She had great distance from the table and great height off the table as well. It's important for a gymnast to get a good run, hurdle, and hit the table at the right time to really get that amplitude. And you can see Madison did that right there.
So from Minner and the veteran to a freshman in Jasmine Cawley. We look at the points of emphasis on bars. Walk us through the 3 points here.
I would say, handstands, that's the first thing a judge sees is your handstand. You had that 10-degree window, as well as the release. You just saw her transition from high bar to low bar, as well as her single bar release. She's preparing to go to the high bar where she will set up for her dismount, which is the last point of emphasis in a bar routine. It's the last thing the judges see. Great dismount.
And so not just kicking off her career, but starting the season, a freshman in the leadoff spot, a freshman as well in Ra Akbar in the anchor position for Alabama. What are the nerves like?
You know, your first gymnastics meet, it's nerve-wracking, but it's an exciting time, and I think she did a really good job, as you can see from that dismount. You know, took that small hop back, but I think that was a great performance for her.
And now the crowd roars for the ACC preseason watch list star in Bree Clark. A layout, Kazamatsu coming.
Great. That was a great landing from Bree. You know, last week she got a 9.825, and that was a very similar vault. She did great on that one.
Right on cue, that's Minner's score, a 9.825. Let's take another look. What a short run-up this is from Clark.
Yes. She set that full up very nicely. She hit the table with great arms, and her chest was up on that landing.
How about this, from one gymnast to watch to the other, as the senior from Greensboro, Gabby Gladio, will give us a glance on bars. First team All-American last season on the all-around. Still awaiting Cawley's score to kick things off for Alabama's 2026 season. Team that went to the national semifinals in each of the last 2 seasons, turning into a bit of a powerhouse after a decade off.
Nice handstand. Setting up for her release, a Jaeger straight to the low bar.
Clark's score comes in at a 9.775.
Another great handstand for Gabby. And a great stick.
That is a terrific start to her season. Gladio, with a career high of 9.875, might be chasing that here tonight.
Great distance, slight form break, but her transition was smooth. Her blind full finished right on the high bar to her double tuck dismount. Great landing.
Excitement from the senior, sticking her opening display and dismount as Maggie Holman, her 22nd career vault coming after a 9.8 on Sunday.
Nice. She does a different vault. She does that front entry, a front handspring pike half, another 10.0 start for Clemson. As you can see, she got great amplitude off. Chest was slightly down, but a good step back. That was a nice vault for Maggie.
Still awaiting those scores. We're going to have that filtered in for you on the Alabama side. So they will bring up Ryan Fuller, who is a second-team All-American last season on bars. She'll be third here for the Crimson Tide, and that's a preseason ranking of number 8. They did finish their last year in that 8th spot.
Good handstand. Transition down to the low bar. The Maloney half. Slightly short on that handstand. Good dismount, slight hop back, but otherwise that was a very good routine.
Lauren, did you prefer starting on the road with that bars?
I did like starting on bars. You know, obviously being at home, starting on vault is my favorite, but away, you know, bars is a little nerve-wracking. I kind of liked getting it out of the way, but I loved bars, so it was fun to always start there.
Eve Jackson now coming off of a 9.675 on Sunday.
Great
Terrific.
for Eve. A big improvement from last week, you know, as a 9.675, she went slightly crooked, but this time she was right in the middle. Hit the table. Nice amplitude, a little bit close to the table, could get a little farther out distance-wise, but other than that, a great vault for Eve.
Cawley's score comes in at a 9.800. As you see, Maggie Holman with that 9.750. So Clemson hoping for some big scores from Walsh and Arnold to round out the vault, as Natalia Polak, a senior, career high of 9.95 on bars. We'll see how her display comes here. Jackson's score comes in, and that's going to bump out Holman. Eve Jackson, 9.825.
Great improvement for her. Nice starting handstand. First transition, back down to the low bar with a bail to handstand. She's gearing up for her dismount. Slightly short on that handstand. Double layout dismount. Slight step back. Other than that, that was a good routine for Alabama, keeping the consistency going during bars. Start off with a Maloney. Straight into a bail. Very nice. Great toe point. Great height off the bar on that double layout.
Tara Walsh on vault, sticks the landing. We're going to take another look at that. Clemson a little quick on the trigger there. And a terrific run.
Great vault for Tara. Straight arms off the table, amplitude, height, slight hop forward, almost got that stick. Clemson needed that score, so great job to Tara.
We'll await the score there from the grad senior out of Michigan, as Chloe LaCourcier, junior from San Diego, second team All-American last year on the bars, and this is an Alabama team that was 12th in the nation on the bars. They were 12th to finish the regular season, and then the lone team outside of the top 8 to reach that final 8 in the national semifinals. It was a terrific postseason run at home in Tuscaloosa. Tara Walsh comes in with a 9.850. Big scores.
Great Maloney, straight into a pack salto. Nice handstand. Another release, Maloney half. Great handstand before the dismount. Slight hop back, but other than that, that was a great routine for Chloe.
Very business-like performance from Alabama. Let's take another look.
Her form is great in that. As you can see, her legs are glued. Those toes are together the entire time.
And so the redshirt senior, Molly Arnold, she had a fall on Sunday, looking for a bounce back here with the Yurchenko layout half.
Good vault. You know, it's not a 10.0 start value. It is a 9.95 start, but the Tigers needed that good, consistent landing and vault from her, and I think that just honestly increases her confidence. Like you said, Daniel, she did have a fall last week, so it's exciting to see her bounce back from that.
So I mentioned it earlier, a freshman in the leadoff spot in Cawley, a freshman in the anchor position. And Alabama coaches are really excited about this newcomer in Azarea Akbar.
I'm excited to see what she does. Head coach Ashley Johnson had said she just floats on the bars. So I'm excited to see her make her debut tonight.
Here comes Gladio's score. So a 9.8 and a 9.850. And, you know, the referees are also still in early season form, trying to get through some of these bar scores, as we see Akbar here.
Great handstand. Straight into a transition, a pack salto down to the low bar. Another great handstand.
Arnold's score comes in. That will be the one left out, 9-6-7-5. So a 49-0-2-5 for Clemson on vault to kick things off.
Great bar routine for Azariah. How exciting to make your debut and with a stick. I'm excited to see what she gets on that. Legs are glued. Great handstand. She held on to that landing, wow. And she held the finish. That's a big thing right now in NCAA. You have to hold that salute for more than 1 second. So that's something coaches stress and have been for the last couple of seasons. Both teams are doing a really good job on that.
And look at these scores coming in for Alabama. 9-8-5-0 for Fuller, as we'll have an exhibition here from the junior Gabby Ladani. Meanwhile, Quinn Cool ran out an exhibition on vault. But Clemson has to be pretty pleased with a 49+ to start things off here at home.
Yeah, 49+ is very consistent, a very good score for any team. And I think that should just, you know, going into the next rotation, that should just give them some more confidence.
Pollock's scores come in as well. 9-8 is right now the low score from Cauley. It is a terrific start for the Crimson Tide.
Nice handstand.
Oh, and the first 9-9 comes as well.
Side step forward. I think she just let go of that bar a little bit too early, a little excited to finish the routine.
LaCourcier with a 9-9-2-5, just shy of her career high. And so Ra Akbar's score the last to come in, but Alabama will take a slight lead into the second rotation as we are joined now by the Alabama Crimson Tide coach and Ashley Johnson. Coach, thank you so much for joining us. What went into the decision to go lead off and anchor as a freshman?
You know, we really try to compete the best 6 who are ready to go at that time. And Jasmine Cauley warmed up amazing. Azza warmed up amazing. And so we're just trying to compete like it's our 6th meet of the year. They've been doing this all fall long, and it was just about doing it one more time.
That was such a great rotation. How do you feel going into vault, you know, building off the 49-2-5 from bars?
Yeah, I'm really proud of this group for starting strong and for just being them. We're looking at what's our standard, what's the Bama standard, and how close can we get to it. And so we're just looking to be us, have a lot of personality, have a lot of fun, and play fierce as we go over to vault.
And Coach, you've got that connection with Coach Liz LeCrandall Howell, of course. And so when you have that in a meet like this, is there any interaction throughout?
We, of course, you know, said hi to each other, gave each other a big hug, always catch up on how things are going. I'm excited for her and Justin and how they're leading this program. I know they're going to do an absolutely phenomenal job. And it's just great to be in such an awesome environment. The crowd's amazing. Just a really great environment here.
Terrific start, Coach. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's Ashley Johnston as Alabama turns a stellar turn on the uneven bars. We'll have rotation 2 coming up next here on ACC Network Extra. Center stage, how about Ra Akbar, the freshman on anchor with a 9-9-7-5 as the Crimson Tide with a 49-4-2-5. Just over Clemson with that 49-0-2-5. Along with Lauren Rutherford, I'm Daniel Gilman. Thanks for stopping in here on this Friday night as changes have been made here in the last year for the women's gymnastics side of things, and the big change is the fact that the NQS scoring is no longer 6 meets. It is now 10 meets, a minimum of 9, with all away scores factoring in. So what does that really calculate when you talk about home scores for the season?
It's definitely a new change. I think it'll definitely affect, you know, strategic meet planning when you can count 5 home meets, but if you have 6 home meets, your highest score automatically drops. So now you have to count your 5 lowest. So I think that'll definitely affect some of the teams, and that's definitely something to consider when they're planning the meet schedule and how they're doing lineups and how everything is calculated.
Yeah, a couple extra variations, the away meet radius, as well as the fact that we're going to see more quad meets, according to the coaches, because those quad meets are going to give you a little bit more experience towards that postseason. And home meets are no longer a big advantage if you stack them up, because as you mentioned, Lauren, if you have a home meet that is a 6th home meet of the season, you will then at the end of the year have your best score of the year removed, which means we may see NQS scores towards the end of the year lower if a team does not put together a good home meet. Pretty incredible stuff we'll talk about as the season goes along. We've got rotation 2 coming up next here between the ACC and the SEC. To Little John for a gymnastics meet this season. Highly recommend it. We've got Light Up Little John. This is the first time that Clemson Gymnastics is putting together an event like this. Light up wristbands on all of the fans here as we get set for rotation 2. But first, let's go ahead and take a glance around the ACC, where the Howls made the move from Cal, who won the conference last year, over here to Clemson. But Stanford is the team to beat, according to the coaches in this preseason poll. NC State, of course, you two guys had that duel last year. It was an incredible run towards the end of the year between the Wolfpack and the Tigers. What do you think about the ACC in this side of things?
It's interesting to see. It's exciting for Clemson, especially, you know, being ranked not only number 2 in the ACC preseason, but also number 19 in all of the 2026 preseason gymnastics polls. So I'm excited to see what they do this year.
So Jasmine Cawley, who led things off in the bars, will do the same on vault with a Yurchenko 1.5.
Wow. With a stick. That was a great vault for the freshman leadoff. An exciting night for Jasmine. This Yurchenko 1.5. She had a great entry onto the table. Great distance, great amplitude, and a great finish.
Yeah, the Crimson Tide are buzzing. Cawley had that 9.80 removed on the bars as Dakota Berry with a 9.775 last week on this apparatus.
Good handstand. Going straight into her first transition, right back down to the low bar. Good pirouette. Last handstand, slightly short, gearing up for that double layout dismount. And a great stick for Dakota. I think that was an improvement from last week with a small hop back. Excited to see that score. Nice form, slight feet separation, but a great exclamation point on that bar routine at the end.
Off to Jamison Sears, the junior out of Virginia, with another Yurchenko 1.5. She had a Yurchenko full for each of the last 2 years. It'll be her first time competing on vault with that 10.0 start value.
Wow, big vault, slight over rotation. She just had too much power.
Wow, a 9.9 for Cawley. Let's take another look.
Slightly off to the side. I think just controlling her power is something that'll help that so much.
Let's see what deduction that brings as Lily Lippick gets a huge roar. One of the crowd favorites here, newcomer of the year in the ACC 2 seasons ago. She had a 9.8 here on bars on Sunday.
Great handstand. Straight into a ray. That's the first one we've seen today. Connected straight into that transition. Great handstand. Held that at the top. With the blind full, a little bit over. But a great stick for Lily. Excited to see that score.
It's a big hold, a career high of 9.90. We'll keep an eye on that for Lippitt.
It's a great single bar release. We haven't seen many raised tonight.
Now the sophomore Kylie Kwame with another Yurchenko 1.5.
Great vault. Slight of a rotation again.
Kwame's fired up.
Otherwise, I think that's a really good score Alabama needed.
Sears comes in with a 9.775 as Hannah Clark works her way for her first performance here tonight. Clark, another one of those student athletes that had to work through a fall on bars on Sunday. You know, we talked to the coaching staff. She really dove in practice this week, broke apart the Jaeger, working on that tap and the way she comes off the bar. So what are we supposed to key in on here on a performance like this?
I think just seeing how she approaches the bar this time and just, you know, falling is never what a gymnast wants to do, but, you know, it's about how you get back in the gym and you train and how you switch that mindset. And I think just having the confidence in yourself and your training is just the make or break deal to have a better routine the next week.
Barry with a 9.775.
Slightly short on that handstand, preparing for her Jaeger. Much better than last week. Good last handstand. Great bar routine. That's definitely going to increase her confidence coming off of a fall last week. Held onto the bar. Good amount of time straight into that release. That was a great routine for Hannah.
9.8 for Kwame. Bring up Jordan Paradise.
Good, Yurchenko 1.5. Tried to control that landing a little bit too much, trying to get that stick. Took a small step backwards. Otherwise, a very good vault for Jordan. Right there, you could see she was just trying to find the landing a little bit too fast. Otherwise, she held that landing. Very good vault.
Brings up Eve Jackson. A 9.725 on bars. And Coach Justin Howell really went in on Eve Jackson's week of practice after a tough performance against Towson. Tried to remind her that you just need to relax and show up. Did you ever have a tough meet and then really have to kind of focus on your week mentally more than physically?
For sure. You know, we've done so many routines in preseason that competition season, you know, it's just another turn. It's just another routine, and it really is about that mindset and just going in with a positive mindset rather than, you know, being too hard on yourself, because your body knows what to do. It's just about trusting yourself and your training.
Meanwhile, Lippitt with a new season high, 9.875, as we see the senior from LA now.
Good save for Eve. Good reach and save. She's slightly far on that Jaeger. Good last handstand, gearing up for her dismount. Good full out. Great landing. Great job for Eve. You know, coming off of her not favorite bar routine last week to then this week, ending with a stick, I think that really just shows her confidence is really coming through right now.
Great to see back-to-back bounce backs there from Clark to Jackson as Gladio puts on a show here, 1.5.
Great vault for Gabby. This is a new vault. That's the first time she's competed at Yurchenko 1.5. And I think she's happy with that.
And she won the SECs as a freshman with the Yurchenko full. Talked about overcoming fears landing. Walk us through this.
That was a great 1.5. She had great height, great distance from the table. Definitely a confidence boost. Competing a new vault and competing it well.
So 9.850 comes in for Clark, and now the newcomer, Cal grad transfer, Ella Cesario, has known this coaching staff since 8th grade, and when we talked to the Howells about Ella and her silly demeanor, they say it really carries through the entire program, as we're going to see her very composed on the bars here.
Nice starting handstand. Jaeger, she has a great high Jaeger. Great transition down to the low bar. Great last handstand. Really honing in on those details. So that's sick. That was great routine for Ella. I love watching Ella. She just has such great form on that event. And she really knows how to float and fly.
Following that incredible 9.975 for Akbar, here she is on the vault, her debut.
She is having herself a first 2 events. That is a great vault for Azariah. You know, going out there for your first meet, competing a brand new vault, she's doing a really good job being confident and having composure.
Another 10-0 start value here with this Yurchenko 1.5.
She spotted that landing right there. Almost had that stick.
So you see the scores coming in. Paradise, a 9.775. Same with Sears. Gladio, more of the same from her excellence. As we'll see Quinn Cool, calm and composed, the ACC Specialist of the Week here in this anchor position.
Great handstand. She had 9.9 last week. I'm excited to see what she gets this week. She's looking good so far. Slightly short on that handstand. See if she can stick this. So close. That was a really good routine for Quinn. Solid rotation for Clemson on the bars.
Coming off of Cool's first ever event win last week on bars.
Great transition. She does a single bar release array straight into a transition of bail. And that double A. Pulled her feet in slightly too early.
On exhibition now, the freshman Noella Marshall.
Another 10.0 start. Great exhibition routine for Alabama.
Now the front pike half vault, and Marshall's a unique story. She was recruited for the first time in May after the DP Nationals. Bit of a late arrival, and that is a difficult vault run when you have to land facing the other direction. So scores coming in there. Ra Akbar with a 9.875. Alabama living up to the preseason billing of the top 10 spot, and Clemson still awaiting that cool score, but Cesario, tremendous 9.850 here in her second ever Clemson meet, as we'll now see Sierra, excuse me, this is going to be Molly Arnold over as the exhibitionist here on bars.
She doesn't normally do bars. I think last week was her first time exhibitioning this event, but it's exciting to see her add in another event besides floor and vault. Great first handstand. Going into her single bar release, a Jaeger, straight down to the low bar. Slightly far on that Jaeger. Good last handstand, gearing up for a double layout. And with a stick.
Meanwhile, Cool with a pivotal anchor score there to get Clemson up to 49-2, which is going to match Alabama's rotation 2 here. And again, less of a head-to-head competition, more of just hoping that you can either repeat the 1.9615 for Clemson and maybe getting a little bit higher up there to keep those NQS home scores rolling.
Yeah, for sure. You know, you want to be above that 49 threshold, and I think both teams are doing a really good job at that right now, just you know, calm and consistent is really the name of the game. And I think both of these teams going into the third rotation, it's important that they keep that composure going.
Oh, we've got a tremendous lineup coming for you next, but first we're going to try to track down that man, the new Clemson co-head coach, and Justin Howell ahead of both floor and beam, as we are joined now by Coach Justin Howell. Coach, thank you so much for joining us. We got a light show going on here. Welcome into town. A tremendous improvement on bars from Sunday to today. What did you see out there?
Yeah, I mean, we got one day better, you know. I mean, we had a short turnaround from our Sunday meet, so we went back and just worked on some little details, some technical things to give them a little bit more confidence. And so I was super proud of them. You know, it wasn't perfect, which is fine, because I think the things that they did well with the fight are things that are going to, you know, we're going to carry with us for the rest of the season, and are probably more important than being perfect right now.
Following the first two rotations, what's the mindset going into the third, going to beam?
Yeah, just keep trying to get a little bit better, you know? I mean, there was a lot of better things we did on vault. We certainly did better things on bars, and we're just going to try to stay in our bubble and really think about the how we're doing gymnastics. That was our message coming off last weekend, and we need to do that through 2 more events.
And Coach, what's the biggest difficulty with a short turnaround going Sunday to Friday?
Yeah, the short turnaround recovery, you know, is always a big priority. We're fortunate we have a lot of phenomenal resources here at Clemson, so we were able to take advantage of that this week. But when you get going in the season, it's a lot more competition than it is practice, so we're in that mode now.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Go Tigers.
2 rotations down. We're going to tell you a little bit more about a week in the life and a game day in the life of a gymnast next, as Alabama holds that 4-10 lead. After reaching the national semifinals last season, they have shown very little rust in their season opening meet. A tremendous start on bars, and then a suitable performance on vault. Both teams with a 49.2 in that second rotation. And, well, we talked to Justin Howell there a moment ago, Lauren, about a short week, you know, going from Sunday to Thursday and now Friday. But with this expansion that Clemson has undergone with the ARC, and then, of course, that everyone's raving about the Watt Bistro that all of these student athletes get to eat in now, what does it bring to come here and be able to indulge and recover across the street?
Yeah, it definitely brings an edge to Clemson. You know, recovery, especially as a student athlete, is so important. And like you said, with this short turnaround from a Sunday to Friday meet, it's just that much more important to be fueled and recover correctly. The Watt Bistro is amazing. It is nutrition tailored to athlete recovery. All sports can use it except for football. The Athletic Recovery Center, or the ARC, I mean, it is elite. It has every recovery machine you can imagine. You know, I would take time between class, after practice, and it's just such an advantage for these athletes to have all this support.
And we talked to the coaches. They mentioned massages and food. That's how the last few days have been spent. We get ready for rotation 3. It's going to be fun. The balance beam and the floor coming up next. 9.2 for Clemson is a new season high on any apparatus, and they sat 4th in the nation with their 196-150 on Sunday. But Alabama, they brought some fans, and the freshmen have been firing. Ra Akbar had that 9.975 on the bars, and now we move over to the balance beam. Walk us through the acro skills and what it brings on this iPhone-sized beam that these student athletes carry.
Yes. Dance and acro is such an important factor. You know, obviously, leaps, dismounts, landings, it all goes together, and what you want is a really fluid beam routine. And, you know, staying on such a skinny piece of equipment is hard, so just having that mindset while also being confident and staying in control.
Here's a look at our order with Clark second. Gladio will anchor floor for Alabama as Tara Walsh kicks us off.
Gearing up for her series. Great start. She had back handspring layout, step out. She's doing really fluid movements, staying in control. Another acro series to a connection, that's called a front toss. Her leap connection. That's a difficult jump series, you know. Any sort of jump where you have to put your head back, it's almost like a blind landing because you don't see the beam the entire time. Gearing up for a dismount, round off 1.5. Great stick from Tara. Great lead-off routine for the Tigers. Very happy with that.
Walsh, a journeywoman from Auburn to Michigan State. Now Clemson, let's take another look.
Great landing on that layout, step out, good form as well. Good amplitude and connection on that front toss.
And another freshman in the leadoff spot. Celebrating a birthday yesterday, it's Mackenzie Matters.
Floor is such a fun event. It's really where you can show off your personality, and I know a bunch of the gymnasts, myself included, it's really fun to be able to show your personality. She's gearing up for that first pass, a front tuck step out to a double tuck. Chest was up, great landing. This is a really fun routine. Her teammates are all dancing on the sideline. Going into her leap connection. Great leaps there.
How much can you use your originality in these dance moves and the music, of course?
Honestly, all of it. For me, it was always about, you know, what music do I see myself doing this year? Great double pike. She's definitely having fun with it, showing off her personality. Especially as a freshman, just having fun with it. Great lead off routine for Alabama. Good front tuck step out. She did a 2-pass routine, which you're definitely gonna see a lot of tonight.
Coach Johnson not messing around. She threw freshmen out to lead off all 3 apparatuses so far.
She did.
What a way to kick off the career for Matters.
It's exciting, you know, putting your freshmen out, first meet of the season, lead off and anchor positions. It's very impressive. They show a lot of confidence, and, you know, the coaches trust them. I think that's something that's very cool about these freshmen.
Now, we will see this from time to time, especially on floor, as the officials confer. Just make sure that maybe one of them caught a reduction, right? What might see a reduction on floor?
Anytime that you see the coaches or judges kind of gather and meet in the middle, it's usually about a start value discrepancy.
Now, these are the beam judges, I'll correct there. So they're talking about Walsh.
And usually that's because the start value might not be a 10.0 when it should be, or they missed a connection. So we'll see how that affects Walsh's score.
Meanwhile, Bree Clark is ready. Walsh does come in with a suitable 9.825 to start things off. Maybe take some pressure off the rest of the Tigers as Clark had a 9.8 on beam on Sunday.
Second time we're seeing Bree tonight. She had a great routine last week. Gearing up for her first skill, standing front tuck, into a jump. Slightly off center, recovered well though. Gearing up for her acro series, a back handspring to a layout step out. Unfortunately fell on that. It's important that she recovers well though and finishes the routine strong. Good full turn. Great leap connection.
What goes through the mind after a fall on beam?
Just about finishing strong, which Bree did. That was a very good finish to her routine, a very good dismount. It's unfortunate when a fall happens, but you know, finishing the routine strong is important because you never know when you might need to count that score.
So a little bit added pressure
For the rest of the lineup, for sure.
Meanwhile, back on floor, should be a good show here. The All-American Chloe LaCourcier, following the 9.775 for the freshman Matters.
I love her artistry on this event. Really finishes every dance move through her fingers. Gearing up for this first pass. Double tuck. Good chest up on the landing. Showing off both artistry, power, and flexibility from Chloe. Great leap series. It's important to remember to breathe during these routines. Gearing up for her second pass, a front layout to a front 1.5 to a stag jump. Very fun pass. Having fun with this routine. Great routine for Chloe in Alabama. Good first pass. She also does a 2-pass routine. Chest was up, slight scooch of that first front foot. You really want to see a gymnast when they land a backwards pass to plant that front foot like you see there. Otherwise, a very good routine.
So we jump right in to the early moments. Hannah Clark on beam. She had a tremendous 9.8 last week.
A different series for Hannah that you normally see. She does a front toss into a back handspring. Very nicely done.
Meanwhile, Tara Walsh had her score adjusted up to that 9.85, and Clark's will ideally be eliminated after the fall.
I want to see a little bit more of a split from a beam routine. Gorgeous acro skill, front toss to 1 foot. Very difficult. I love Hannah's artistry on this. She's calm and collected throughout this routine. Gearing up for round off 1.5. Slight hop forward, but otherwise a very good routine. It's what they needed coming back from that fall. Another look at this front toss to 1 leg. Very difficult. And a great routine for Hannah.
Meanwhile, LaCourcier ties her career high with that 9.900, and so we will see the 4'11" Jamison Sears. She can fly through the sky.
Yes, she's a firecracker on this event. She starts with a double layout, very difficult skill. She's setting up for that skill right now. Stayed in bounds. Super high. Having fun in this routine. Leap series up next. Great flexibility and height. You can tell she's having fun. Her teammates are dancing on the sidelines. I love when a gymnast can just really embrace their floor routine and just have so much fun with it. Make it honestly just look effortless. Second pass, front tuck step out to a double tuck, great landing. Another great routine for Alabama. Let's take a look at that double layout again. Great height. She stayed in bounds.
What might that have saved her?
That, you know, going out of bounds, you definitely don't want to cross over that line. You'll get a 1/10 deduction. So it's important that you know, are aware of how close you are to going out of bounds.
Lily Lippett now, when you talk about that added pressure, knowing that Bree Clark's score is down there in that low 9.375.
Great. Broke that connection. She's gonna have to redo her first skill for her series. Got it that time. Great save from Lily. You're allowed to repeat the skill if you miss that connection, but it's important that you connect it as it's a critical element of a beam routine. Save that connection as well. She just needs to settle in to this beam routine. She's recovering very well. Just has that dismount left. Round off 1.5. Slight step back. That might not be the routine she wanted, but she fought throughout the entire routine. Right here, she saved that, was slightly off, but made that requirement. And here she is for that dismount. Spotted the ground, but wanted that stick so bad.
Clark with a 9.7, and now Ra Akbar. It's her final apparatus of the evening. She has put on a show here tonight, Lauren, hasn't she?
Oh my gosh. It's amazing to see a freshman just come out here and be so confident and have such a great night. It's been exciting to watch, and I can't wait to see what else she does.
Anchored the first two rotations with a 9.975 and then a 9.875 for the freshman out of Baltimore.
First pass was great. It was a front tuck step out to a back 2.5. Here's her second pass. A back 1.5 front layout, very clean. Fun routine. She's incorporated artistry into this, also with power. That was a wolf turn. You don't see those as often in college gymnastics as in the elite gymnastics world. Having fun out there. Great routine for Akbar.
You talk about reloading for Coach Johnston. They lost the All-American Lily Hudson. A couple injuries this year in Benoggin and German, and freshmen are loaded.
And they're stepping up. Look at that first pass. Spot of the floor, inbounds, great pass. Her second pass, back 1.5 front layout. Legs are glued. Chest was up, great presentation. I'm excited to see her continue on floor.
Meanwhile, the Cal grad transfer, Ella Cesario, getting her MBA now at Clemson. She's getting closer to competing in the all-around, but for now, bars and beam. She was a leadoff at Cal on the beam. Is it different to transfer from leading off in an apparatus to then moving towards the bottom?
Yeah, I would think so. You know, leading off, you do set the tone, but you know, you also don't see if there's a mistake in front of you. So I think that's definitely, you have to switch that mindset a little bit when you're in the back. And so today, I think that it'll be a test today with, you know, having a fall with the second routine. It's just about staying calm and trusting yourself, taking it slow, being fluid, finishing all of your skills all the way through. Gearing up for her series, back handspring step out, back layout, great series. She's looking calm and confident so far. Good leap connection. I love her artistry on this event. Taking her time, gearing up for her dismount. Round off, back 1.5. Great routine from Ella. That's what the Clemson Tigers needed. I think that's just a testament of her, you know, experience, being in the back of the lineup, being a fifth year, being able to handle the pressure, and she did a nice job on this beam routine.
And Lauren, I think that's the biggest eruption from a Clemson student athlete here tonight. As we move back over to floor, and the freshman, Jasmine Colley, she is also having a terrific debut.
Great first pass, a full in, an E-level skill.
Colley with a 9.9 on vault leading off, and then a 9.8 on bars, but the bars were so good for Alabama, they didn't even use her 9.8.
Great leaps. It's awesome seeing these freshmen out here. You can just almost feel their confidence through the screen. She's gearing up for her second pass. Back 1.5 front layout. Great second pass. Having fun with the choreography. Smiling at the camera.
So often we'll see a flourish from the university come on the floor, and we're going to see that in Gladio for you Alabama football fans next.
Great routine from Colley. Freshmen going back to back with very good routines. Take a look at her first pass. That full in, landed with her chest up, front leg did not move. That's a very good routine for the Tide.
And 9.90 for Cesario. That's going to tie her career high on beam, and now we'll see Quinn Cool, the ACC Specialist of the Week, as the anchor.
She had a great beam routine last week. She has some pressure on her being the last routine of the beam rotation, gearing up for her series. Nice this triple series, 3 skills connected. The only triple series in the beam lineup for the Tigers. Looking calm, in control. Taking it slow. Good full turn. She just has her dismount. Gearing up for that next. With a round off, back 1.5. Great routine from Quinn with a stick. They needed that.
We could say that again, Lauren. You look at these scores, and to finish with the Cesario 9-9, and Cool, who will compete near it. Let's take a look at this series. Meanwhile, it's time for the show. Coach Johnston told us that Gladio has come close to a perfect 10 multiple times, but I think they might have played the wrong music. So she had to step off and now reset. And did that ever happen to you, or you had to step
multiple
off?
times.
How do you keep your composure?
Sometimes that happens. Usually we just laugh about it.
Well,
Gives you
now,
an extra
Gladio
second to breathe.
has center stage for everyone here at Little John. Over 7,000 have packed the gym.
This is an exciting routine, like you said, Daniel, especially for you Bama fans. She incorporates a little bit of Alabama football in here. She's a big Alabama football fan. Here's her first pass. Wow.
Coach told us that she has focused on gluing those legs together on that first pass as well. They look pretty tight.
You can tell. She's really been honing in on the details. Almost stuck that first pass. Having fun with it. I love her energy on this event. She's high flying, she has fun. Great leaps. Gearing up for that last pass. She has a front layout to a front 1.5 to a split jump. Slight chest down, but a great routine for Gabby.
And the Crimson Tide dominate the floor. Look at these scores, primed for another huge result.
Let's take a look again at her first pass. Notice her legs are glued. Almost stuck that. Great first pass from Gabby. Great second pass. See that slight chest down. Other than that, recovered well.
We await the final scores, a 9-9 for Quinn Cool. So Clemson able to set a new season high on beam, just over that 49. And a career high. How about the week for Quinn Cool? Specialist of the week. And a new career high on beam as Sierra Church finishes that series here as an exhibition.
Great series from Sierra. Good leap. She struggled with that a little bit last week in her exhibition routine. I like Sierra's artistry and dance. Always finishes everything all the way through with fun, unique elements, just like that one leg raise.
And a 9-9 to anchor it out for Gladio. She'll be the only all-around competitor. A good finish there for Church. So Alabama matches bars and floor with a 49-425.
They're looking great tonight. You know, Ashley Johnson had said that details are what they were focusing on, and you can really see that tonight.
And now Swami, sophomore from Washington State, to exhibition here on floor.
Take a look at that first pass to front layout to front Rudy. Chest down, rushed that skill a little bit. Wasn't able to fully get that jump all the way up. Recovered well though. Having fun with this floor routine. The energy in Littlejohn is so fun, especially on floor. Everybody is so in tune to the floor routine and just having fun with you. It's one of my favorite things of competing floor at Littlejohn. Stuck double pike.
This just an exhibition here. A look at our updated score in the bottom right, and on pace right now for both coaches to be pretty pleased with their NQS here on this Friday night in a top 20 showdown. We've got rotation 4 coming up in a few minutes. We'll touch on a little bit when we come back through 3 here at Clemson. Littlejohn was the theme of the night. Everyone got a light up bracelet, and it is Alabama lighting up the mats through 3 rotations. Clemson as well on pace for a new season high, as we'll see how this 4th rotation comes in just a few minutes. Quinn Cool coming off of the ACC Specialist of the Week with a new career high on beam. And well, it has been an unbelievable couple years here in Clemson for the gymnastics program that started in 2024. Over 8,000 fans packed Littlejohn. You were there, a part of the inaugural team. And then upping the ante last season, top 10 in the country in attendance. What was it like, Lauren, to play in front of these fans?
Oh man, it was amazing. You know, when you have that many fans, I think sometimes people think, you know, it's intimidating, but you really just feed off the energy, you feed off the crowd. It's a performance, and it honestly just makes it that much more fun and gets you really ready for postseason.
And despite the downpour here in the upstate, the fans, they came out and they will be ready for a show coming up in the 4th rotation. Clemson heads to the floor, and you know what that means. Bree Clark to anchor this Friday night matchup between Alabama and Clemson. Stick with us for the final. Around the conference, the only 2 teams in the ACC that were in competition this last weekend were Clemson and Cal, as the Tigers just edged out the Bears. As we look at our ACC Gymnasts of the Week, with Numanatchee taking the top gymnast. And tell you what, Quinn Cool, those 2 event titles, she tied in bar and beam, 1 in bars, and she may be on a good run here in beam, seeing how Alabama does as we round things out. But when you go throughout a season, how much do you take as a Gymnast of the Week award when you can celebrate with your teammates?
Oh, it's amazing. You know, there's not too many gymnasts get it, and I think it's really something to be grateful for and proud of yourself for, and just, you know, I think it's something for the gymnasts all to work for, and when you get it, it's amazing, and it's awesome for Quinn. I was excited to see her get that and get to perform last week.
And we're excited to have a flurry of gymnastic meets on the ACC network. As we take a look at the rest of this season, it's Clemson all over the board, and that big anticipated matchup between Cal and their former coaches in the Howls on February 7th. But first, we've got Stanford and North Carolina coming up next Sunday. And then February and March is filled with gymnastics here on the network. So you can go ahead and snap a picture of that if you want. Meanwhile, on the SEC side of things, how about the Gators and the Crimson Tide lined up for a Friday night ESPN2 matchup? Some of the top teams in the country. Oklahoma, that move 2 years ago from the Big 12 to the SEC really bolstered the conference's gymnastics. Oklahoma, of course, national champions last year after avenging a tough finish to 2024. And to see the movements that we saw, over 10,000 fans in Fort Worth last season for the championships. We also had the most watched championships and semifinals in ESPN's histories. So now we get set for this final rotation. And Lauren, when you walk through the visualization of a meet, how do you best prepare to get ready for the floor if you're the home team?
That's a great question. You know, I think just remembering your training and, you know, using the crowd as fuel. It's your home crowd. They're here to support you. And I think just using that to do your best gymnastics is something that will help everyone, and that's what helped me.
Meanwhile, Alabama was top 10 in floor and vault last year, but they were 17th on the beam, something that Coach Johnston focused on in our chat. She wants this balance beam rotation to be smooth. She's rolling out the sophomore in Ryan Fuller to lead things off. The final rotation for the Crimson Tide.
Starting off her routine, you could probably see her mouthing some words. Those are most likely her cue words that just kind of help her get in the zone to compete. Front aerial to a split jump, first acro connection, full turn. Slight wobble on that. Sometimes the easiest skills are the hardest on beam.
Fuller only competed on beam 5 times last season.
Great series. Great form. Chest was up. She's taking her time. She's breathing. Good leap connection. You can really see the artistry. She finishes every pose all the way through from her toes to her fingers. Gearing up for that dismount. Round off, 1.5, almost cut that stick. Otherwise a great lead-off routine for Fuller. Here's another view of her series, a back handspring, layout, step out. Great form. That'll
now,
be a great score.
We move over to the floor. Maggie Holman kick things off for Clemson.
She had a great lead-off routine on Sunday. She has a fun routine, some fun music.
This is one of the veterans on the team, a junior. Holman, this is her 21st appearance on floor.
Here for a front double full twist. Slightly under-rotated. Otherwise a great starting pass. Having fun, smiling. Good leap connection.
These new shimmering regalia purple leotards debuting here tonight for the Tigers.
Gear up for that last pass. It's gonna be a front 1.5 twist right into a back layout step out. Just happy with that routine. What a fun routine from Holman. A great lead off for the Tigers. Let's take a look at that front double full. First one of the night, as you can see, she just stepped back. You want to step forward on that pass to eliminate any sort of rotation deduction. It was a great back, front 1.5 to back layout step out.
Meanwhile, a change in the lineup. Jasmine Cawley will compete in all 4 rotations, so we will have 2 Alabama all-around competitors as the freshman Cawley looks to finish off her debut night.
This is a fun wolf turn. Uncommon skill in college gymnastics. Series. Great back handspring layout step out. It's exciting to get to see her on all 4 events tonight, especially in her first collegiate gymnastics meet. Side aerial, acro skill. Beat jump to a switch side. Her leap connection very nicely done. She's keeping calm. Finishing every movement. Side gainer. Great stick.
She's going to give Gladio a run for her money for all around.
Yes, she is. The freshman has had herself a night. Great dismount. Back handspring step out into a side gainer full.
And now Lily Lippett following the 9.825 from Holman. Lippett with a 9.825 on floor on Sunday.
Going into her first pass, she's gonna do a round off double tuck. Good landing, slight slide back. Lily always has such a fun floor routine. Her choreography, she just plays the part. It's so exciting to watch. Here's her leap combination. Nicely done. It's important that gymnasts remember to breathe in these floor routines. It's all about endurance, not just dance, but also tumbling wise. Here's her last pass. Nice, stayed in bounds. That was a great routine for Lily. A great routine for the Tigers. Let's take a look at that first pass. It's a unique pass because she doesn't do a back handspring. As you've seen most of the other gymnasts, they do going into those backwards flipping passes. And this is also unique. She does a Sassone jump straight into her back 1.5 front full. Just adding an element of uniqueness to their floor lineup.
This is also a bit of a shakeup. The junior Gabby Ladani now. She is a specialist on beam. All 11 of her performances last season came in this apparatus with a career-high 9.925.
Great opening acro series, a front aerial to a split jump. I like how sharp she is in all of her movements. Just shows her confidence and composure throughout the whole routine. Here's her series. Great back handspring layout step out.
(9.9) for Cauley.
Great routine so far. Gearing up for her dismount. Back handspring, side gainer full. Another stick for Alabama. Great routine for Gabby. Front aerial to that split jump. Sharp finish.
This is an Alabama team that looks postseason ready on day one. Now Madison Minner on the floor.
She does another front double full twist. Nicely done. She has a fun rock and roll music. Fun routine. It's the second time we're seeing Madison tonight. Good leap combo. Straight to Shushanova. Very fun leap connection. Going into her last pass. A front 1.5 twist to a back layout step out. Nicely done. She has some fun elements in this floor routine. Really a crowd favorite.
Fun spin in there as well, and the rock and roll finish. Let's take another look at Minner's run.
Great front double full twist. Had a little bit of extra power there if you saw her back leg kind of buckle a little bit on the landing. Otherwise, a very good routine for Madison. Here's her second pass. Nice second pass.
Tying a career high, Ladani with that 9.925. Meanwhile, Cauley's 9.9 gives her a 39.475 all around, which means Gladio would need a 9.9 or higher to take the all-around title here tonight. Kwame sets the tone here with some smooth jazz on a Friday night.
Yes. Another triple series, a front aerial, backhand spring layout, step out, nicely done. I love watching her beam routine. It's so fluid. This Alabama beam lineup just looks so confident already. Great acro skill. Side front full, that is a unique dismount. You don't see that too much. Slight under rotation. Otherwise, a very good routine from Kwame. Another look at that series, a front aerial, back handspring layout, step out. Very nicely done.
So now Eve Jackson, a look at a tough floor routine last week. She fell on her final pass, and so this is to close out the redemption meet for Jackson. She had a 9.825 on vault, a 9.75 on bars.
Opening up with a full out. Setting up for that now. Nicely done. Having fun with this. This week, Eve just focused on, you know, working on every pass, what she knows how to do. And I think you can definitely see that tonight coming from vault and bars. Having fun too. Fun routine and music. The crowd here in Littlejohn is really having fun. Gearing up for that last pass. This is where she had slight trouble last week. Didn't quite finish the pass all the way. A front layout, front full, no problem this week. A very good routine for Eve. Definitely will increase that confidence throughout this season. Here's that full out. Nicely done. Good landing, good control. Front layout, front full. Would like to see a little bit more amplitude on that second skill. Otherwise, a very good routine for Eve.
So LaCourcier following a career high 9.9 on floor for the junior out of San Diego. Again, Alabama trying to have 9-8 be their low score. This would be the third rotation of the night that 9-8 is the eliminating score.
Beautiful start for Chloe. She's just a beautiful gymnast to watch. Gearing up for that series. Front aerial to a back handspring. Nicely done. Legs were straight. That's something she's really been working on in the gym, is just the form aspect. And I think it's really paying off tonight.
By the way, Jackson did get a 10 from one of the judges. 9.75 from the other.
Chloe finishing out this routine. Good stick. That was a great routine for Chloe. Let's take a look at her series. Watch the legs and the toe point through both skills. Nicely done. That's going to be a good score for Alabama.
Crimson Tide, Lauren, gearing up for a top 10 showdown at Florida on Friday on ESPN2. And then they'll take on a pair of top teams, Missouri, another one of those championship runner-ups from last season.
It'll be exciting, especially after coming here and then going to see Florida. I'm excited to see what they do.
Oh, the O-Dome brings great energy, I'll tell you that from experience.
It does. I've competed there before. It's a very fun environment. It'll be a very fun SEC matchup.
Meanwhile, the Tigers, let's take a look at their upcoming schedule as they head to Raleigh for that exciting rematch of last season's tight duel, and then all the way out to Palo Alto. Tough trip before a couple home meets, including one on ACC Network against Cal. Meanwhile, we have a little bit of a judge conversation. In fact, it's the double Howell treatment right now. You've got Liz and Justin flanking the referee to have a conversation potentially about Eve Jackson's. I think there was a moment, Lauren, where she was close to going out of bounds. We were watching on the replay, and I wonder if there's a discrepancy in opinion on that. Meanwhile, LaCourcier, a 9.925. That's a new career high by almost half a point on the balance beam for the junior. Now it's Tara Walsh. Walsh has not competed on floor too often. Last week, that 9.725, that's her career high.
She's gearing up for that first pass. Front full. Not too common of a pass we see. Very nicely done though. Having fun out there. Some extra acro elements like that cartwheel layout step out. It's exciting to see her on floor. Didn't compete floor too much last year. So making her way in the lineup is definitely exciting. Gearing up for that last pass. A front 1.5 twist. Last week she didn't quite finish that around. No problem this week. Great routine for Walsh.
Clemson hoping for a terrific final rotation. Let's take a look at that first pass.
Here's that front full connection into an arabesque. Great form into this Rudy. Nicely done.
And now, Abby Gladio, the All-American phenom in her senior season, gonna round out this opening meet. She had a 9.95 on beam in the regional finals at home to help send Alabama to the national semis last season.
Let's see how this first series goes. Back handspring, lay out 2 feet. Fun, different series compared to the rest of the lineup. She's a very powerful gymnast. So she really works on, you know, controlling that on beam. It's not just about power, it's also being in control and slowing down and staying fluid. Lead pass. Great connection there. Gladio looks very calm and confident up there, just gearing up for that dismount. Round off double twist with a stick. Very nice routine. She's happy with that.
Oh, she is more than happy, fired up to finish her opening meet of the season. Gabby Gladio, who we highlighted in the open. Here's a look at the dismount.
Great dismount from Gabby, and what a way to end this meet.
And now the main event, Lauren.
Bree Clark.
The only gymnast that can come out and compete for a 10, feels like every single weekend. Still looking for the first Tiger 10 in program history here.
She opens with a double layout. Great double layout from Bree. Her routine is just so much fun. She just has so much energy and power. She really gets the crowd engaged and puts on a show for Little John every time she's in here.
Two-time All-ACC on floor. Meanwhile, Tara Walsh with a new career high. We manifested it.
We did.
Clark has only won her floor event, 13 times in her career.
She's a great floor worker. She's just a great worker overall. She's so humble. And she's just always in the gym trying so hard, and it really just pays off. Here's her last pass, a front layout, front full to front tuck. Great last pass from Bree. And a lead pass to finish it off. Great routine from Clark. Great way to finish for the Tigers tonight. I'm excited to see that score.
A reminder, on Sunday, Clemson had a 196.15, so they are already shattering that mark as we look at the first pass.
Great double out. Her legs are glued. Slight scooch back. But a great pass from Bree. And that last pass, no problems there. Great landing. Should be happy with that routine. And the freshman, Azariah Arabakar, exhibitioning for Alabama.
Meanwhile, that score comes in for Gladio, and I believe that's going to give Jasmine Cawley the all-around. Yes, it will. 39.475, and she'll dethrone the all-around queen, her teammate. And that's a last-minute adjustment to get Cawley in the all-around. What a performance by her. As we'll see, Ra Akbar, who's had herself a tremendous collegiate debut. She'll exhibition here on beam.
For sure. I'm excited to see another freshman for Alabama make their way into the all-around.
There is Bree Clark. How about 19 out of 26 competitions for Clark as a Tiger, with 9.9 pluses with that 9.925. And Clemson puts together multiple 49.2s here on this Friday night. That's a strong performance. As we'll update you, our all-around title tonight goes to the freshman from Florida, Jasmine Cawley. And all together, Lauren, when you look up and you see 1965, how do you feel as a Tiger?
I feel proud of them. It's definitely a very good start for the season. You know, already having 2 196 pluses in their pocket and, you know, being able to put that towards their NQS. It's exciting.
Here's Sierra Church, who we saw exhibition last week on beam and floor, and do the same here today.
Such a fun routine. It really encapsulates her personality. So bubbly, always fun to watch. She opened with a round off double tuck. Same pass we saw Lippett do. So much fun. I like how Clemson incorporates so much of these fun extra acro movements in their routines. Here's her last pass, a back 1.5, front layout. Great improvement from last week. A great routine for Sierra.
Fans excited to see two high-level teams competing tonight. That's exactly what we had. The coaches made sure to emphasize this is not a head-to-head by any means. Both teams very happy with their final scores. And here's an update on Bree Clark's unbelievable career. 33 scores of 9-9 or higher in her career, spanning a few schools, but Clemson has been her home for the past few years.
She's such a standout on the floor. It's so amazing to watch her just perform and have that confidence. And she really just is so fun to watch. And I'm excited to see what else she does this season.
So Alabama puts together one of their top few scores of all of last year to kick off the 2026 season. And Clemson will be back in action in Raleigh on Saturday afternoon here on ACC Network Extra. Alabama at Florida Friday on ESPN2. And for our entire crew here at Clemson, we thank you so much for joining us as Alabama and Clemson off to a tremendous start. For Lauren Rutherford, I'm Daniel Gilman saying so long. This has been a presentation of ESPN.